Hi everyone, welcome back to my garden. If you are new here and you want to learn more about growing your own food at home, then you are in the right place, so make sure you hit subscribe. Today's video is a really exciting one and it is all about how to start a vegetable garden. If you're not sure where to start, but you want to start growing your own vegetables, then keep watching because I have heaps of really good tips and tricks to get you started. Okay, let's start with choosing a location. When choosing a location to put your veggie patch, it is important that you pick a place that gets plenty of sun throughout the year. So make sure you have a good look around your garden and look at any shade, any obstacles that might cause shade, like trees, sheds, and things like that, because vegetables like plenty of sun to grow. The other thing that is important is picking a location that is close to your house so you can give your new vegetable garden all the love and attention, and also remember to use the veggies that you've got growing. You'll be able to see what is ready and keep an eye on them and make sure that they have water. When choosing your location, you also will want to make sure that you have access to water. Especially coming into spring and summer, it is really important that you are able to water your plants on those really hot days, and it makes it so much easier if you have a hose nearby or somewhere where you can get water. I have a retractable hose and it makes it so much easier because I can quickly just pull it out and give my plants a water early in the morning. Okay, so now you have your location sorted, you need to figure out whether you're going to use containers, pots, or directly in the ground. So once you have your location and garden set up ready, you need to make sure you have some really good soil. I think soil is one of the most important parts about starting a vegetable garden because it's what is going to feed your plants and help them grow big, strong and healthy. So I use lots of compost. I have my own compost tumbler that I put my kitchen scraps in. You can also buy organic compost from your local nursery or hardware store, and I use a mix of compost, composted manure like sheep manure, chicken manure, or even cow and horse manure. Just make sure that it's composted down first, because raw manure can be really harsh on young plants, and it can also have lots of grass seeds and things like that in it that you don't want growing in your garden. So make sure you choose composted animal manure and try and source some organic stuff so you don't get any chemicals or weird stuff in it. I also like to top up my gardens with compost and composted manure at the change of season. So usually at the start of spring or end of winter, and again in autumn, I will put another layer of compost and composted manure as well as a mulch. Mulch is really important for a garden because it protects the soil and keeps the moisture in. Your soil is full of living organisms, so they also need a healthy environment, and healthy soil is the key to healthy plants. Okay, so you have your gardens ready, you have good soil, you have mulch and some source of water. Now it is all about the exciting thing of choosing your plants. So there are a few things to consider when you are trying to decide whether to get seeds or seedlings. The benefits of choosing seeds is that there are so many more options out there. You aren't restricted to what is available in the nursery, and you can get heaps of heirloom vegetables and weird and wonderful vegetables. The other great thing about growing seeds is you can grow as little or as many as you want. If you just want one sage plant and you don't want a whole tray of sage plants, then you can just plant 1 or 2 seeds. It is also much more cost effective to buy seeds. So a tray of seedlings can be from about anywhere from $3.50 right up to $6, and you may only get 6 plants for that. Whereas buying seeds, you could get 100 seeds for less than $2. Buying heirloom seeds also means you'll be able to save the seeds of the plants that you grow, which means it will be even more cost effective for the following years. You'll have your own seeds already saved, because most seedlings that you get at the shops are all hybrids, so that they have been bred to be strong and healthy and grow quickly, but not necessarily flavour and taste. So there are a few reasons that I do buy seedlings over seeds, and that is because it saves a lot of time. You don't have to wait for them to grow, they are already ready to go. And because they are a little bit bigger, they usually have quite a good success rate because they aren't as susceptible to pests because they are already stronger and more developed. So usually I will buy seedlings when it's sort of getting towards the end of the season and I don't have a whole lot of time to get things growing before the weather is too late. So when you're going to buy your seedlings, there's a few things to keep in mind. One, it is really important to find out what can grow in your location at that time that you're buying the seedling. Just do a quick Google search and, you know, what can I grow in your area? Quite often you'll find warm weather plants still being sold right at the end of the season, and if you were to buy them and plant them, they probably wouldn't do well at all. So it is important to just check that before you go to the shops, and that way you don't get distracted and excited by all the vegetables and just grab a whole bunch that aren't going to grow. The other thing to look for is just make sure that they look really green and healthy. Make sure they don't have any black spots or diseases on them, and they just look really healthy. The other thing that I wanted to touch on is that if you buy things like onions or chives, they quite often have a whole lot of seeds planted in each single cell. There's 8 little individual cells in this seedling packet, but within each one there's about 6 or 7 plants, and these are onions. So if I was to just pull these out and plant them just as they are, they won't have enough room to grow. So what I would need to do is carefully split up each one of these individually and plant them out. When you're planting your veggies and trying to figure out the space needed in between them, it can be quite overwhelming. It will say on the back of the packets or on the back of the little information card on how far apart to plant them. But what I like to do is just sort of think logically about how big does an onion grow and then how much space will they need. Also, there are some plants that don't like being transplanted, so it's better to plant them from seeds, and that is things such as carrots. Carrots really don't like to be transplanted, but you will see them for sale at the nurseries in seedling trays, and they just aren't going to do well. So they are one thing that it is best to grow from seed. And as tempting as it might be, don't buy seedlings that have already started to produce the vegetables. So if you see little broccoli plants with little baby broccolis, don't buy them. They're just going to go to seed. They're not going to grow. You want the vegetable plant to be able to grow nice and big and strong before it starts producing its fruit or vegetable. Another tip for when you are going to buy your vegetables and seeds is don't be afraid to try new plants. If you've never eaten them before, just give it a try. Quite often you'll find vegetables you didn't think you actually do like when you grow them at home. They taste so different to the ones at the shops. They're sweeter, they have more flavour. They're just completely different when you grow them at home. And just give it a go. I mean, these seeds are going to grow a whole lot better in the soil than they are in the packet. When planting out my seedlings and seeds, I like to plant them in different beds so that I'm spreading the risk of any failures, because if I plant them in one place and they aren't happy there, at least I have other ones growing in different beds. The other thing is if you plant them all together in a row and the bugs find them, they will easily be able to go from one to the next and just completely decimate your crop. So that's another reason that I like to spread my plants throughout different beds. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. So when you're getting your seedlings out of the seed trays, just give them a little squeeze and gently pull them out. These ones look really healthy and they're not root bound, but if you notice that the roots are all tightly packed in, then just loosen them off a little bit before you plant them. Otherwise they won't be able to spread out and grow. Also, a little tip for tomatoes is that plant them a little way up the stem, because then lots more roots will shoot out of the stem. So I'm just going to pull these bottom leaves off and I'm going to plant them right up to the top so that lots more roots can grow off and it will be able to grow bigger and stronger. So once I've planted my seeds, this is my natural pest management tricks, and that is dried crushed eggshells. So I just put a little ring of these eggshells around my newly planted seedlings, and that stops the slugs and snails from trying to get to them. They don't like to crawl over the sharp eggshells, and also they are completely natural, so there is no chemicals or harmful things going into my garden, and eggshells can provide some really good calcium to your soil. Make sure you give your seedlings a good water. I also like to plant my seedlings in the late afternoon so that they don't get the shock of the full sun as soon as they've been planted. Another good reason to have your gardens close to your house is that you can come out and check for any pests. Especially at the moment we have these green caterpillars. So best way is to just remove them and check underneath your leaves, because that is where they usually like to hide. It's easy to tell that you have caterpillars on your plants by the holes in the leaves, and also they leave a lot of poo droppings, so you'll notice them on the leaves below. So this is a lettuce that I am letting go to seed. As you can see, it has shot up really tall and is going to flower, and then I'll be able to collect some seeds for next year. So this is my driveway patch. I put some edging down, lots of really good soil and some mulch, and this is where I grew my pumpkins over summer, because it was a nice big space that got plenty of sun but a little bit of shade. At the moment I just have some random little brassicas and garlic and some little edible flowers for the bees. So soon I'll be putting down some fresh compost and fresh composted manure, ready for another round of pumpkins. Okay guys, thanks for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know in the comments below if you learned anything new from this video. I am off to plant some more seeds. I'm going to plant these Armenian cucumbers.